Hello everyone, my name is Dracoman and welcome back to another Redstone video. In this video I'm going to be creating a 100 by 100 Minecraft vault door. But obviously you guys knew that already, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. Now if you guys don't have any idea who I am, I also made the video that I'm going to put on the screen right now. That already has over 6,000 views, which was insane. That's the most views any of my videos have ever gotten. But honestly, after I created this door, this door itself actually took 2 hours to build, and that was with somebody's help and without world edit, because I don't really use world edit. And just building it honestly intimidated me. I can't even imagine doing the redstone, which obviously we're about to do. Also, because of how big this thing is, this is going to take several days to record. So sorry if the audio quality is not consistent throughout the video. But unlike in the 20 by 20 vault door video that I made, in this one I'm actually going to make things a little bit easier for myself, in that I'm going to cut the door in half, either horizontally or vertically. I haven't decided which way yet. And then I'm going to move the two halves apart instead of having like quadrants, because that will be, well, for me obviously it's going to be less redstone to do. Okay, I think I'm going to be moving the doors to the left and to the right, because then you don't have to like wait for the door to get all the way down before you can walk through. You can just like wait for them to open a little bit and then you can start walking through already. Anyways, okay, I'm just going to jump right into this video and start up the time lapse. It's been a little bit and I have not finished it, as you can see, and it is really looking crazy. It's looking so insane. Anyway, so now what we need to do is we need to bring this top quarter along with it. So this is carrying 1, 2, and then we need to do that for the rest of these. Welcome to day 2 of building my 100 by 100 vault door. So if my audio quality is a little bit different, then I do apologize. But as you can see, we now have the bottom half of the first door covered with our flying machines. I have very low hopes that this is actually going to work. They're not very high. Oh man, I'm okay. I have prepared myself for this thing to break, so let's go ahead and do it then. Oh my gosh. This is intense. Okay, slowing down. Okay, I've reset the world and turned off smooth lighting, and so maybe that will make a difference in how laggy it is. Probably not too much of a difference, but it will definitely help. I'm going to test it again off camera just to see how different the lag spikes are, and then I'll report to you guys in a little second here. Holy crap. Okay, it doesn't look like it right now, but that was going really smoothly for a little bit. So changing the minimum lighting. Oh dude, look how smoothly this is going. Wait, it's done? Okay, that was way smoother without the minimum lighting. We can open the 4 quadrants of the 100 by 100 door just like we did with the 20 by 20 door, and not have to deal with this mess here. All right, so I guess the next thing we should do is get rid of all of this. I made the mistake of not making a backup when I finished the triangle of the door here. I just continued on with the top of the door, not thinking about it. Okay, I have destroyed all the progress I've made, and it's really unfortunate, but honestly it looks cleaner now. So I just saw this world and I clicked it and it came onto here. Dude, what the heck? This door is tiny. I mean, I guess I can kind of understand why I thought it was big. But dude, looking back, this door is absolutely freaking tiny. Guys, the whole door just moved and there was no lag whatsoever. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I'm so sorry I did not record it. Dude, look, the whole door has moved perfectly. The only reason those parts didn't move before was because they were connected to the bottom half and the top half of the door. Because see, now they're working fine. Okay, quick update. So I have managed to move the door all the way back to this point here by moving the pillar of obsidian. And now, now we need to actually do some measurements and make sure that the door is actually a little bit further away from the frame, because I would like to have at least that much space for the flying machine. That should be all the space it will need, but it may or may not need that much space. In which case, and now the next thing we're going to be doing is firing and updating all of these observers, which is then going to pulse these pistons, and we're going to do it in an order. So we're going to do these pistons first, and then these pistons, which will push these pistons forwards, and then push the blocks forward again. And so eventually, all of the blocks are going to be, or all of the different flying machine parts are going to be a block apart. And then we can set off the flying machine itself, which will then push the entire door forward again and then back into place. I also had another thought, and that I actually wanted this door in general to be darker than it is, specifically with the oxidized copper here. And so I've decided to replace it with spruce wood, which I feel like gives it a little bit of a nicer feel. So that's what I'm planning on doing. If we come down here and use this command here. Seriously? I tried to do like the whole door, but that was like way too many blocks. Come on. Hey, there we go. I feel like that would look nice for whatever reason. Nice. I'm gonna be honest, I might actually replace the stems down here as well, because these... I might do that too. Okay, well, we're just gonna do the copper for now, and then we'll see how that looks, and then I might replace the stems as well. It does look much cooler for sure. And I definitely am liking that darker color more than I'm liking the copper. Although I think I might actually just leave... I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna leave the blue there for now. If I don't like it later, I'll change it. I can't believe this thing is so big that it's actually getting hard to see the far corner of it, just because of how sneaking massive it is. Like, the further away I get, the more the fog covers of the door, because it's so far away, because it's so dang big. I have put all of this redstone in place, by hand, mind you, and we are about to test the whole thing out. I have made a backup, so I don't need to worry about that. But I don't know, it's still nerve-wracking. I don't... Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and just start it. It's off to a terrible, terrible start. Oh dear. Oh gosh, what happened? The whole thing should work. Again, it may or may not. Oh, but it is looking really, really good. No. Pretty sure that's not what it's supposed to do. Okay. I have another question now, which is that how did these get separated from the slime? Oh my gosh. Oh, crud. Okay, I just realized what was wrong. Oh, and that is that these pistons all need to fire at the exact same time, right? Which means that I need to have different timings for each of them, which is a little bit of a problem when you're trying to give all of them a one-tick pulse. And that means they're extending forward, which will make this fire once. They'll stay out here for a little bit because of the extended pulse that they have, and then they'll retract, making this pulse again, which will make this piston retract its section of the flying machine, which then breaks the rest of the flying machine. That's what's happening, and that's the reason it's not working. But the problem with that is that there's I'm trying to figure out a different way to update this observer. It's the only way I can think of doing this easily without having to rebuild everything. Okay, give me a bit. I need to do some more experimenting. Actually, I just had an incredible thought. If we just give a constant a constant output on these redstone lines all along here, that would extend these pistons once, but it would extend them all in order that I've placed them in. Which means, well, these roads would extend. They would stay extended, of course, because it's a constant output. They would stay extended, and that would alert these to make these pistons fire. And then the next row would extend, and then these would fire. Basically, it's different from the first wave because it's not like firing and then pulling back again. It's just firing and then staying extended. That would actually solve all my problems, which means I just have to get rid of these monostable circuits, which is a lot easier than moving all of this redstone. So with all the monostable circuits removed, and having our new system in place, let's go ahead and see if this works now. So we hit the button. Things are moving forward exactly as they should, which is great. Oh, okay, that was just a game. Okay, I thought it broke. But it's fine. It's fine. It's... What the heck happened? Dude, what? Okay, something happened with the flying machines that very definitely wasn't supposed to. So... Oh my gosh, what? Okay, I used a sneaky tactic and I went down there and pressed the button and then teleported up to here with a command. And then I saw what happened, and I'm pretty sure what happened was these lines of observers right here, this line right here, it powered these blocks, and that powered the pistons underneath those, which were right there where that honey block is. It powered that piston to push forward and push this thing back, which broke the entire flying machine. And that probably means we'll have to make new flying machines, which is really, really annoying, because that means we'll have to rearrange the flying machine themselves. We might have to move this pillar. We'll have to move these things here. It's just a pain. It's working, y'all. It's working. Oh. Okay, I think the tip pushed a little too far. But the door is in place. It's come back. Oh wow, that looks insane. We should probably turn that off. Here we have the door. And as you can see, okay, so it did go a little far. Pretty sure I made it back up, so I doubt that will be a problem. Yeah, that won't be a problem in the future because we're going to have two doors colliding with each other, so there's no way they can push each other apart. But anyways, that does work now. And apart from those middle parts, this whole door, well, the whole quarter of the door is now working, which is just great. Yeah, I think next we're actually going to work on the top and bottom sections because those will be different than the side, and I really don't feel like doing the other side right now. So I'm going to take a break from the sides and start working on the top and bottom now. Alright y'all, welcome to day 3 of building this 100 by 100 vault door. As you can see, I have gotten the flying machines in for the top fourth of the door, which is ready to be lifted up, but first I need to put in a horizontal pillar of obsidian just to make sure it doesn't continue flying off into nowhere. Alright, there's the pole up there, and I'm setting up the activation pistons now. And go. Please tell me they all started at the same time. I need to stop recording. Okay, so that mostly worked. Not entirely. Oh, okay. I think I actually understand why. It's not the push limit because we have, or is it the push limit? Oh, yo, wait a second. I think it's because they were trying to grab blocks that were underneath other blocks, and so it couldn't actually pull it up. That might have been the reason. And if that's the case, we've got somewhat of a larger problem. Good thing it's only on the edges though. That makes me happy. Because yeah, it's definitely not the piston push limit. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then plus the one that was right here. But yeah, I guess that's not technically counting stuff that was like on top of that. I feel like that would have been a problem with the other ones though, wouldn't it? Interesting. Let's see what we can do about that. And again, if you guys are watching this still at this point and you're enjoying it, then please subscribe because we're almost at 200 subscribers and it would mean a whole ton to me if we made it to 200. Ooh, hold up. If we did something like this, so if we just replace all of these with glass, I think this one's good. we should see it work again, I think. Alright, the glass blocks are in place, and I will give you guys the results, or I'll show you guys the results once I do it, because I cannot record and test this at the same time. That just makes more lag. So see you guys in a second. Good news is it totally worked. It's completely working. Bad news is, just kidding, there's no bad news. This thing is completely working as far as I can tell. There's nothing wrong with it at the moment. Of course, this will actually be moving first. The side doors will move out of the way first. So things like this, that block will probably still be attached to this. There was a piston right here that will be leaving first, so that's not going to get dragged up like it did this time, so we don't have to worry about that. Obviously we still have to put the slime blocks in on the other door, which is going to be the same as this one. But up here, if you guys give me a second or two, or like 10, as you can see, I'm putting in some droppers, and that is for sending the whole thing down again. We are going to need to put droppers along here, along the tops of all the observers essentially, and then we're going to have to power them for, like, we're going to have to power like this row and then this row and then this row, all the way up to the top, so that we can actually get the door separated before we actually send the whole thing down. Alright, the droppers have been added along with a crap ton of wool, and so now we are ready to start and test this thing for the first time. Oh, I should make a backup. Okay, backup created. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and test this thing. The whole thing went all the way down, and it worked. I mean, it's back into place. I mean, the middle kind of looks weird, but that's because there's nothing to stop it at the very center. But that's because there's no bottom half of the door yet. We still need the bottom half in order to stop that from happening. But other than that, this thing is completely working. As you can see, even this piston is back exactly where it's supposed to be. Just like I showed you at the beginning. This is supposed to be there to update this piston, so that the top part of the door actually works. Not the door going left, I mean. But even that piston is back in place. This whole door is completely working. All of it, everything is all exactly where it was. So after all that time-lapse footage, whoa, since when did I have time-lapse in a Redstone video? This thing is huge, oh my gosh. Anyways, after all that time-lapse footage, as you guys can see, I have finally completed the bottom half of the door, or at least the flying part of the door. And so we are free to actually send this thing down. Of course, we'll have to make a horizontal pillar. What do I call these? Like, it's not a horizontal pillar. I'm sure there's a name for a bar, I guess. So I still have to make a bar of obsidian down below to prevent it from going too far, and then I'll have to, once it's down there, we'll have to put all the redstone in place to send it back up. Alright, we got the bar, we got the activation mechanism thing here, so let's go ahead and see what happens. Wow, that worked beautifully well. And now the arduous task of placing in all of the redstone bits for this entire door. Alright everyone, welcome back. It is now officially day 4 of building this thing, and as you can see, I now have all of the droppers and wool bits in. I still have to do all the redstone and the repeaters and all that stuff, but I can start doing a time-lapse now, so I guess you guys can enjoy that for a bit. And now with that all done, I do believe we are ready to set this thing off. I have rigged it so that it will turn off after a certain length of time, just so that we didn't run into the same problem we did up above. And if it is going to give a constant output, so we should be able to tell where it goes wrong if it goes wrong somewhere. All right. In all honesty, it completely destroyed itself, but also in all honesty, that was like the most beautiful breakage of a door I think I've ever seen. I mean, look at this thing. This is just beautiful. I mean, it's terrifying and like ugly and like, oh crap, that was not supposed to happen. But it's still beautiful. Okay, I think the reason it didn't work is because I forgot to place a different slime block or a honey block. Which, yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure that was the reason, because there's definitely nothing right here, and there definitely should be something right there. Yes, that is much more like what I was hoping for. Okay. Alrighty, now that we've done the side, top, and bottoms, the last thing that I need to do is actually just do the other side, but I'm not actually going to put that into recording because I'm literally just copying this side exactly and then flipping it, which is... I mean, you guys already went through that entire thing, and I don't really want to go through that entire thing again. And so I'm not going to bother going to record it, like, either in time-lapse or really in like updates, unless I'm just feeling really bored. So I'm gonna quick do that. Yeah, you know, I say quick, it's not going to be quick at all. But I'm gonna do that, and then I will get back to you guys when I'm done. And then we can actually start working on the wiring, which is the far more fun part of this machine, which I now am. But as you can see, we have all the redstone in place. I've actually connected all of it up as well. I didn't forget this line here, which I did forget on the other one. But yeah, obviously this line is key and very essential in actually starting the flying machine. So we got all the lines, we got all the redstone in, and we are now ready to send it off. I have made a backup. Hopefully it works. I'm not really sure what to expect, honestly. But I guess we'll find out. Bruh, there's no way that worked first try. There is no way that worked first try. Come on, something's gotta be wrong. I missed a block, something somewhere. There's gotta be at least one thing wrong. There's no way I got that first try. I'm genuinely not really sure how I've done this, but I am very happy with how it's turned out. So I guess now the only thing that we really need to do... Oh, okay, so we need to hook everything up with wires and such that we can open and close it with just a button click. But we also need to make the ceiling and the floors and the walls and all that stuff that's going to be coming in from the sides. Also, something else I was planning to do with these walls is that I would bring the top half down from the top, and it would just go halfway down, and then I'd bring the bottom half of the wall up from the bottom. I just personally feel like it would look a lot cooler. Also, so here, as you guys can see, I have a design for one of the walls of the door. And basically what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to make it look like the door itself, so it just looked like it swung open or something. That's really all I'm trying to do. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy and paste this right here. And then of course I'll have to put it, or I'll have to recreate it on the floor and then paste it on the ceiling as well. All right, here we got both walls, and we got the ceiling and the floor all in place, all built up. And now we have one of our flying machines in. Oh, well, I guess this is technically two of them, but I made two of them so that we could alternate between slime and honey. As we copied and pasted it across this half of the top of the ceiling. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this now, just over and over again until we get to the other side. And then I'll rebuild it, this section of the flying machine, onto the other side, copy and paste it on that side, and then we can work on the walls and the floor. Okay, well, turns out that you can't really copy and paste redstone very easily. But I have managed to just copy and paste the redstone components by themselves. And now I'm gonna paste the bottom row of the honey and slime. I'll just put the single blocks on later. I'll just put these blocks on there later. But I'm going to copy and paste the bottom row of the honey and slime all the way across the top of here, and then that should be pretty much it. All right, we now have the entire roof covered, and also, by the way, it is now day 6. Pretty sure it's day 6. Okay, so it's day 6 building this thing. We have the roof now in place. It's all been completely set up, which is great. The flying machines are ready to be set off. But before we actually set them off, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just straight up just build the walls and the floors, the flying machines for the walls and the floor, and then we can start working on the actual redstone. As you can see, I put in the wall. It literally didn't even take like 20 minutes to do that because commands are great. I'm still having the problem of how to get this one slice of the wall out. because these pistons are just in the way and there's nothing I can really do about them. I'm thinking the easiest solution would just be to move this, to move these here, to somehow make it so that they're over here instead of right there, because that would fix the problem entirely. I'm thinking maybe what we could do is we could literally just do that and then just get rid of these, because what that would do is that would make it so that these would give a constant output, which means they would just extend and stay extended until that amount of time has passed, and then once that time has passed, these would unextend, but by that point the flying machine would be well past it. And then for places like this where the redstone doesn't actually touch it, we can just replace that with the target block so that it's forced to grab it. Alright, with the redstone finished and all of the sides, the walls, the floor, all of the flying machines are now all in place, we can actually now start working on the redstone and the wiring and the timings and stuff. Actually, okay, well, I suppose first we do need to figure out how we're going to end up moving these, the top and the bottom ones, and the walls and everything. And then, but then after we finish that, then we can start working on the timing. So we're almost there. All right, y'all. It is now day 7 of building this door. We've been working on this door for an entire week. Okay. So I'm having. Okay. So here's the problem I'm having right now. The roof is gonna be, the whole roof is gonna move to the side because it's just the easiest way to go. And then hopefully, okay, and then the walls are gonna end up both moving straight downwards, simply because there's no room above me. Because, okay, you see that block there? That block is the world height. That's as far as I can go right there, which means these walls are not gonna fit between that and that, which means I have to move both of them downwards instead of moving one of the, or two of them upwards. So both walls are going to go downwards, the roof is going to go to the left, and I want to move the floor to the right, just so that it's opposite from the roof to make it, you know, give it a little bit of a nicer effect. But the only problem with that is that if this is coming straight downwards, that means I'm going to actually move the flying machine downwards to about right here, and then that way I can activate it without getting in the way of the door. I can use, or the activation device will not be in the way of the door. But that means I can't extend this flying machine hours, which means the activation device the activation device will have to be right about here, which is in the way of the door, which is a problem. And that means somehow we need a mobile activation device, which is rather tough. That is the problem I'm having right now. So obviously we can extend this down, have the activation device down here somewhere, but actually, most of the activation devices to activate these flying machines here don't actually need to be mobile. We just need to move like the last 3, because those are the ones that are in the way of the door. Thank you guys for listening to that. I really just needed to vent my problems to someone, because there's just been a lot of them. Actually, I think I'm actually going to make it so that the roof does split and it goes 2 different ways. Alright, I've been working on this thing you see in front of you here for a long time. I've been working on it for, I'm not even going to tell you guys. Oh yeah, also my internet went out, so my skin's whacked, but whatever. Anyways, so I've been working on this for a long time and trying to make it so that instead of powering every single piston under here in order to get it to move forward, I wanted to make it so that I could just update one piston, and that would update all of the pistons, and then the whole thing would move forward, which I have done here. So as you guys can see, if we push all of the pieces forward so that they're all separated, and then activate the flying machine, there we go, activate the flying machine just like that, then it will move forward until it hits the other piece, and then it will stay in the middle as the floor. But then if we want to move it back, all we have to do is just touch this piston, just update it once, and that will update all of the pistons in the row. And so all we need to do is just touch one piston, and then the whole floor starts moving. So as you can see, if we just put the lever on there, we didn't even have to flick the lever. We could just put the lever on there, and then the whole machine just starts moving again, which is really great. That's exactly what I wanted to do. It's taken me hours to get this design, but I am so ready to put it in here. Also, because it's so long, or tall, I guess, we'll have to get a way to move these observers right here in order to make room for it. But that's easy and so worth it compared to everything we've just done right here. And indeed it was worth it. As you guys can see right here, I have put in the things that will make it so that when we click this button here, well, okay, I'm actually not going to do it right now because we don't want to break anything. But basically what happens is when we click this button, these observers will they'll move over one, and then up one, and then they'll be pushed forward, and then they'll be pulled back, pulled down, pulled over. also that they don't get caught on the slime block as it moves around. And then we also have that set up on the other side, as you can see right here. So we have them set up on both sides, and so they both are working and ready. And also, as you guys can see, if we come down here, I have set up all of the machines just as they're supposed to be, which means everything is ready for the floor to start moving, which is just great. That's getting me very excited. But now, before we do that, obviously we have to be moving the ceiling and the walls. We still need to get those both out of the way, just so that we can get a sense for what this is going to be and where we need to move them. So I actually need to do some measurements, so I can figure out how far to put the obsidian bars and pillars, so that the walls will actually go out and then stop at a certain point. Oh my gosh, okay, that was the laggiest thing I'd ever experienced. I was getting maybe 1 frame every 3 seconds. It was bad. But just concerning the left half of the ceiling, as you guys can see, we have set up the activation circuits for the top. And so when we click this button right here, it will go through all of these lines of redstone and activate each section of the roof until it hits the flying machine, and then it will send the flying machine off, which will send the entire roof across and into place above the giant cathedral of a door here. Time to copy that onto the other side, which I now have, as you guys can see, and I have also moved it over, and I've actually done the same for the wall. Turn my render distance down a little bit, so it's kind of hard to see now, but as you guys can see, when we come down here, here is the wall. I've moved it downwards, and I've actually altered it a little bit and extended the flying machine downward a little bit so that it's not touching this edge of the door, because when I activated it before, the activation device was approximately right here, I think. Yep, it was about right there, which is a problem because that's where the floor is supposed to be going when it gets when it moves out. So I needed to extend the flying machine downward so that the floor is actually able to move outward and move past the activation device. But one thing I realized when I was moving the wall is that, okay, first off, so this wall, it is very large, and it is all one big flying machine, which means there's a lot of moving parts to it. And the thing about a lot of moving parts in Minecraft is that it's quite laggy. Oh, also, I got the internet back, so my skin's back now. Hooray, hooray. But it is quite laggy, and it literally took like 5 minutes for the lag to abate, which is a bit of a problem because my intent was for that both halves of the roof would open, but then next was going to be both walls would go down at the same time, which I feel like just isn't going to happen. Okay, just the one wall by itself was so laggy. I was getting like 1 frame every 4 or 5 seconds. And it took so long to get from bottom to top. I just can't imagine doing both halves. Okay, I'm gonna turn the render distance up. I'm just sitting here talking. I just can't imagine doing both halves of the door or both walls at the same time. It just seems illogical because that would just be so laggy. I don't know, man. This is getting a bit intense for my computer. I'm pretty sure my settings are on the best possible performance they can possibly be on for vanilla in a snapshot. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am using a snapshot right now just so I can get the world height right, so that I could actually build this thing to be a 100 by 100 door. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna move the other wall down as well, and then I can get the floors out of the way, and then we can actually close the door and start working on the timings. Although actually, okay, before I move that door, I actually need to set up the launching for this door, which is going to take quite a while because I need to launch each individual section. Alright, there's the redstone for the one wall to send it back up. That's all complete. But before we do any redstone behind this wall here, we actually need to extend the flying machines downward like I did for that one. Otherwise, I'm going to have the activator end up being right about here to activate these pistons to set the flying machine off. But the problem is these obsidians are in the way of these flying machines, which means we need to extend these downward and then activate them from a lower point so that these flying machines can still get through it. And as you guys can see, I have now lowered the walls and put all the redstone in place for activating them and sending them back up again. So now it is time to move on to the floors. We're gonna separate them, and then once we get the redstone in place for sending them back, that will be all the repetitive redstone we'll do, and we can actually start working on the wiring. This is exciting. We're kind of almost there, guys. All right, so we have good news and we have bad news. Good news is we got the floor over, and that worked completely, not completely lagless. There was some lag, but there wasn't a ton of lag, and it was bearable, which is great. That's always great news. Bad news is these pistons are ridiculously hard to fire because we can't just activate them from beneath, because there's a flying machine right there, and that's going to run into whatever we activate them with, which means we can't really activate them from underneath. And so I was thinking another way we could activate these is by powering them from above. So right now when I click this button, this piston is being powered. It just doesn't realize it until it's been updated, which means if we power the entire row of blocks above this row of pistons and then update the first one, then just like with the flying machine, it would update all of the other pistons in the row, and that would potentially move them all forward. I didn't actually have to do that much testing. All I had to do was update the piston as I powered it. So as you guys can see, that does in fact work, which is really great. But another problem I thought of is that we are giving these things a 1 tick pulse, which is rather weird because that gives us a very limited time to update it. So as we give it a pulse, we also need to give this piston a pulse. Ooh, that's actually good. Hold on. So if we pulse the piston directly and then pulse all the other pistons indirectly, would that work? Will both of them go? That's the real question. Oh, yes, they do. Oh, that is wonderful. That is just wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's really great. Okay, that is good. Okay, so that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted it to do, which is just great. So now we actually need to get a system that goes all the way across the top of this floor, and then we have to do the same thing for the other floor, and then we can really start doing the wiring, guys. That's the stuff I'm excited for. Yo, I don't know if I said this anywhere in the last couple of clips, but those last few clips were day 8. It is now day 9, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I have never worked on a same redstone project for more than maybe 2 days, except for my last giant vault tour, which was it was only a 20 by 20 vault tour, but that still took like 3 days or something. But anyways, we got both lines down, we got all the redstone pieces in place, so now everything can be sent back. Everything, all 4 sides of the door, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, they all have their redstone to be sent back and brought back. We just need to time it up properly so that it actually works properly, I also just wanted this door, unlike my last door that I made, which is the 20 by 20 door, I wanted this door to be opened and closed by just 1 button press instead of switching between 2 different buttons. And so I come up with this system here, which basically what it does is it goes one way and then it swaps the blocks, and then it can go the other way on the second press. So now we have something where we can go one way to open it and then send a signal another way to close it, which is just great. So now we can actually work on the actual timing circuits. And as you guys can see, I have added quite a few lines that lead up to all the different doors. I've even added one that goes down around here that activates this door, and I was completely ready to test it, so I did test it, and it went terribly, and the whole door broke. I will show you guys a screenshot of what it looked like in the end when it finished. It was just terrible. The sides came in way too fast and just melded together, and then the top and the bottom came in later and just did not work at all. So I changed up some timings. I added some repeaters to slow down the sides a little bit. I don't know if I added enough. I might have to add more, despite the fact that I added like 10 of them. But I think we're ready to test it again. I'm not sure what it's going to do this time, but I think we're ready to test it one more time. Oh yeah, also by the way, today is day 10 of building this thing. We've come a long way. So I tested it again, and this happened, which was, it's definitely better than the first time we tried it. And it's a lot closer to being completely closed than when we first tried it, definitely. But it just wasn't quite there. And I think the doors were still a little bit early, so I added an extra 8 ticks to each one, and so we're going to try it again and see what happens this time. Alright guys, this is probably the 3rd or 4th time I've tested the door, and look, the top worked perfectly, our timings for that worked perfectly, which is just great. But as you guys see in the back here, the bottom right here, this was too late, otherwise these parts right here would not have smashed together. See, they're supposed to be about 2 blocks apart, but they've completely smashed together, which means the bottom did not get in there in time before they smashed together, which means the bottom is going up too late, which means we need to get rid of some timing down below. It is approximately the 7th attempt, and the door has been finally closed, which is just awesome. There were several attempts that just completely failed, and most of them were because of the bottom section. It was coming up too late, and that ruined a lot of things on the bottom half of the door. But the top half was pretty much done most of the time. So I just adjusted a few timings, and now the whole door is completely back in place, which is just wonderful. So now the next thing I need to do is work on the closing, which is going to, first off, it's going to pull the door apart. And then once that's done, it's going to send the ceiling in, the two halves of the ceiling together. And then it's going to send the two halves of the floor together. And then it's going to send the walls up. And then that will create our hallway. And then we'll have to adjust the circuits on the opening to make it so that the walls come down and the ceiling goes apart and the floor goes apart and all that before the door comes up. So that shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know for sure. All right, as you guys can see, I have set up some red lines here that will go over and activate. Actually, it'll activate the bottom quarter of this door, and then once the door gets down to a certain point, the door itself, as you guys can see right here, see there's an observer here, and once it gets down to this point here, it will activate this line, which goes up and activates the two halves of the floor. So as you can see, it hooks up right here, and then this floor will start flying in once this door is low enough for it to fly in. And then the same will happen with this door. This door will also fly in at the same time. And then, so what we'll be seeing is the door will be moving down, and as it's moving down, the flying machines are coming up and closing in as it moves down, which I feel like is just going to look awesome. I'm going to try it without recording, and then if it's not too crazy laggy, then I might record it as well. Otherwise, you guys can just wait till the end to see the whole thing move. Okay, y'all, we are about to test this entire thing out. By the way, it is currently, I think, day 11 of working on this thing, maybe even day 12. I don't even know if I recorded anything yesterday. I think it's day 12, actually. Okay, it's day 12. So I've been working on this thing for 12 days, goodness gracious. And I've actually set up all the wiring needed for this thing to open all the doors and put all of the ceiling, the floor, the doors, or the walls all in place with a single button press. Okay, let's try this out, I suppose. I'm not going to record it just for the lag's sake, but don't worry, at the end I will record the entire thing. I promise you guys, and I'll speed it up so it's easier to watch. And I'll skip all the parts where it looks like it's completely frozen, because it does that a lot. Anyways, okay. Let's test this thing out and see if it works. Yeah, that didn't work. Something went wrong with the floor. I'll give you guys a screenshot of what happened right now. It looked awesome, but it was so wrong, and that would have messed up the walls coming up from the bottom, which the door just wouldn't have worked if I just left it that way. So we got to figure out what's wrong. What was wrong with the floor? And then try and oh, I'm stupid. This just came up and hit this slime block, or this wool block, which would have totally just, oh man, because that's already pretty much at the piston push limit. Like, I don't think these pistons right here can push anymore. So if they hit this wool block, then that just, that would have broken the whole thing, of course. All right, a new backup has been made. We fixed up the the terrible mistake I made over there with the wool blocks. And hopefully that's the only mistake I made with this door so far. And this thing can actually work on the second try. I've made another backup, so let's try this again. It actually worked. The whole door is completely open. The walls have come in place. The floors come in place. There's no gaps anywhere in the corners. It's all here. There's nothing. It went perfectly. It all went perfectly. Oh, also, by the way, I believe it is now day 13. Bro, I would love if we could finish this door by tomorrow. Because then I could at least say that I did it. And even 2 weeks of working on this door. Also, you know, then I could be done with the door. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm rather tired of working on this door. I am very ready to be done with it, but it's still exciting and I still want to finish it because it is working now. So, next thing we need to do is we're gonna divert these lines to activate the wall, ceiling, and floors, and then we're gonna come back and connect to these lines again to activate the doors to come in, which we have now done. As you guys can see, I've diverted the lines and then eventually brought them back to where they're supposed to be, and as you can see, I have done this on both sides. So I've completely just destroyed the lines basically and then rebuilt them and rewired them to other places. But I do believe that is all the redstone we actually need for this door. I think we're pretty much done. Of course, I still have to test it, but it's gonna take forever to test because, you know, even the opening literally took like half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even like full hour just to open. Still needs to test it. I still need to know if it works or not, and then if it does work, I will record the opening, and then I will record the closing, and then that will probably be the end of the video, because that will be the entire door working. It worked, guys. The door has officially closed, and so my brother has actually he's going to show me how to host a server on my computer, and then we can use this world as the server, and then supposedly it will run better somehow. So we're gonna try that with the server thing, and then if it runs more smoothly, then I will record it for you guys. If it doesn't run more smoothly, then I will record it for you guys. Either way, you guys are about to see the entire opening and closing, so I hope you enjoy that. Alright, first off, I would like to say that yes, I do have a fan on, and that is just because my arms are kind of warm right now, so I'm just going to have the fan on, deal with it. Second off, putting this door on a server helped so much with the lag issues. It was ridiculous. Oh my gosh, it opened and closed in like maybe the total span of like maybe 20 minutes, whereas before it took a couple hours to open and close. So yeah, putting it on a server helped a ton, which was just great. And then also, you know, I put on some minimum lighting because I don't plan on opening this and closing this again anytime soon, I'll be honest. It's been quite the adventure doing this. Also, if my voice sounds weird, it's because I have a stuffy nose right now, and so it's just gonna sound weird. I don't have a cold or anything, it's just stuffy and I just can't get rid of it. It's actually feeling a little bit better by this point. But anyways, yeah, that's all I have for you guys today, I guess. Maybe even this week, I don't know. I might post another videos this week, probably not, because this editing is going to take a while, and then it's going to be Monday, and school's starting, it's all the good stuff, you know. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys right now, so if you enjoyed this video, it has taken 2 weeks, by the way, and that's why I haven't posted in the last 2 weeks. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like down below, because it's all really appreciated. And if you really enjoyed it, then please consider subscribing, because that also really does help. And so yeah, anyways, that's it. So hope to see you guys next time, and I will hopefully see you guys next time. See ya.